literally freak out in the middle of type. And now we are going to type up. A...
It's just like not for online publication. Publication, okay. I can't say words, okay. The entries from the 6 finalists will be performed by... I'm looking for prizes, god damn it. Panetto will be...
There are no prizes.
Broadcasters on Radio 2. In addition to the entries in the 6 finalists may be published in a national newspaper. An anthology of the top 50 entries, 25 in each age category. Stop saying that! May also be published.
BBC will sue you.
Awarded to the 3 finalists in each age category. The 2 gold winners will win Chris Evans' height in books. That's 6 foot. He's 6'2". Okay.
No one's gonna want to win anything by Chris Evans. No one cares about Chris Evans.
No. His height in books will win Chris Evans' height in books. So that's 6 foot. He's 6'2", and 500 books each for their school. Nice. Okay.
They had to literally just measure him and say, right, if we can get enough books that fit this size.
The 2 silver winners will win Alex Jones's height in books, he's 5'6".
Oh,
and the 2 bronze winners will win their own height in books, which I will be pretty happy with because I'm kind of tall. Parents or guardians of the top 50 successful extracts will be contracted by a member of the production team at the beginning of May 14th. Further proof of age, identity, and eligibility may be requested at that stage. The BBC will pay reasonable travel expenses and endeavour where possible to provide where possible to provide 1 twin hotel room to share for the child and parent or guardian to attend the broadcast with Chris Evans' breakfast show on Friday 30th May 2014. However, the BBC cannot cover the additional travel and accommodation that may be...
Wow. They're basically saying if you have more than 1 parent, screw them.
Yeah, by the way, you can only take 1 parent. Who would I take? I'd probably ask Sam to come with me. He's one of my older brothers. The BBC dissection.
Dissection. I knew it.
The BBC's decision as each stage of the competition, the top 50, 25 in each. Stop saying that. The the 6 finalists and choice of gold, silver, and bronze in each category is final. So no components will be entered into. Oh my god, that's kind of sad. What it said at the start was that if your dad works for the BBC, you can't enter the competition because it might cheat. That's not fun.
My dad works as maintenance. Knows every single show. But yeah, I just typed in chat what I think BBC Now stands for.
Oh god.
It's just like it's a big drop.
Yeah, definitely. The BBC reserves the right to amend these terms and conditions or cancel this competition at any stage if deemed necessary. In this opinion, the circumstances arise outside of its control. BBC subcontractors and subsidiaries, age-nickers or any...
Age-nickers? My nickers are 5 years old!
I don't know what it was. Or any other aggression associated with the competition cannot be accepted any responsibility whatsoever for any technical failure or malfunction or any other problem will be with any service in internet access system or otherwise which may result in an entry being lost or not properly registered or reported. Proof of sending is not proof of receipt.
Well, that's rubbish. If the servers go down, it's their fault. But there's something that caught my ear a while ago that said royalty free. That pretty much means that as soon as you give your content to them, they can do whatever they want with it.
I know.
Which means they can put it in their name.
I know.
Which means I was right.
But this is Radio 1 and 2, so I don't think they'll do that.
It's just like the darkest story wins. Hello and good morning on BBC Radio 2. Today we are going to talk about the cult of Cthulhu. Yeah, and then it's just the entire station.
My story is about a group of kids who are like secret agents who have to bust into this place, bust in and steal some files from these evil people who are pretty much terrorists who are planning to blow up parliament buildings and airports.
Where have I heard that before? Oh, remember the 5th of November.
Oh my god, yeah. I just realised that.
You're basically recreating the events of Firework Day or Bonfire Day.
Of Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could use that. See, proof of sending is not proof of receipt. Is that seriously? These terms and conditions are governed by the laws of England and Wales. Any reference made by these terms and conditions to the Hay Festival or to a Hay Festival or the Hay Festival. What's the difference?
There is none. Dun, dun,
Any reference made in these terms and conditions to Hay Festival or the Hay Festival refers to the Hay Festival of Leisure Arts and is being stayed at the Hay Festival in Wales. Share this page. No, thank you. Oh my god, that's like 27. That's 27 rules. Seriously?
27 years.
Our expert judges. Okay, so Richard Hammond.
Expert?
God, Richard Hammond is judging.
Oh, listen, it's fair, at least.
So Richard Hammond, Francesca Simon, newest member of the 500 Words family, is thrilled to be judged by the wishes of I don't know who that is.
This guy, yeah, Bob.
Mallory Blackman, that's
racist.
I was gonna say that's really convenient because she's actually black.
Oh my god, what were our parents thinking?
The children's leisure has had her fingers crossed that she'd be asked back. Well, of course we did. Charlie Hickson, who's that? Don't know who that is. And
I'm gonna Google him now. I'm just gonna find Charles.
Charlie.
Oh, it's the same thing. Charlie.
Oh my God, Richard Hammond. Last year's storybook and on the last year's stories took the CBBC and Top Gear stars' breath away. So he's back on board as a head judge. Really?
Oh my God! What am I looking at? I search for Charlie Hickson and then.
What? Frank Cottrell Boyce or whatever. He took gold in the writer behind the London 2012 opening ceremony, and is back to help pick medal winners for 20.
That's apparently Charles Hickson. Well, Charlie Hickson. I just typed it in, and the first thing that popped up was that.
I'll send you a picture of what he looks like.
There's a bunch of other pictures about one guy as well, so I think I know what he looks like. Yeah, he likes making gun fingers.
Oh my God! Need inspiration? 500 words. Need inspiration for your story? Press AlphaBot's tummy, and he will generate.
You'll explode.
To help you get started. Load words. Time, hours, birthday, dolphin, crunch.
Wow, I feel so inspired. I'm going to stop what I'm doing now, and I'm going to instantly start making a
hedgehog wave, grand.
That was very grand, you hedgehog.
Well, what incredulosity? What?
Incredulosity. Would you like to know what we do?
Celebrate. I don't know what that word is. Stop. Island, cloud, bridge, kitten, planet.
Kitten Planet.
Night Prince Cloud Wizard. Monster Wood March hovercraft content.
It just sounds like you're going
Duck
crazy.
Night Water Family Cloud.
Yola, calm down.
Duck Night Water Family Cloud.
Yola.
Pixel News Sky Dejectedly Wand.
We're all dejected. Jones dejected.
March first step.
I know what to do. Let's add an expert.
What?
I'm adding an expert to the call.
Jordan!
Let's take it. Why? What happened to him? He doesn't look like that. John just kind of went, you know what? You know what? I'm going to take a picture of me from when I was like a person.
Oh my god, Scott, he has a girlfriend now.
I know, Lois.
I know, I'm really happy for him because I knew that he liked her, but still, aww.
Yeah.
I was telling Finn that because Finn didn't know, and I said he got a boyfriend. And then he told his friend that, and he said boyfriend as well. And then I was telling Jessica, and I said boyfriend.
John's having a moment, I think. I don't know. He's not answering. He's probably on jokes. Again. Who else do I have that could help with the situation we are in?
I don't know.
No one. That's who.
He's on Do Not Disturb, so I doubt he'll get it. Okay. Are you age 13 or under? How old will you be on 30th of May 2014? If you'll be 13 or under, go right ahead and send us your story. The competition has 2 age categories, 9 and under and 10 to 13. There are bronze, silver, and gold prizes in each category. Is your story no more than 500 words? If you hadn't already, type up your story on the computer or ask a grown-up if you need help. Then you finish your story.
Get your dad to write a story. You have to get your mum to write a story. J.K. Rowling.
When you've finished your story, select all and copy it to the computer's clipboard. Control plus C on your keyboard.
Copy, yeah. Woo.
You can then paste the words into a big box below and check how many words you've used. Remember, you can only enter the caption once.
Or you can have a look at word count on Microsoft Word.
I know. I'm gonna write it in my little book that I'm now gonna write books in and count the words because I don't trust Word because I've got medieval generation. 3. Do you have permission to enter? You must ask a parent, guardian, or teacher for permission to enter this competition.
Do I have permission to get ripped off?
Ask them permission to read the rules. Then when you're ready to submit your story, make sure you are nearby. You can't enter without them. Teachers, if you'd like to ask to help judge the competition, please complete this form. Nah.
Would you like to help children write their stories?
Oh my god, this is weird. Ready to enter? Great, let's go. Now fill the box below. A star indicates the box you must fill out before submitting. First name, surname, name of school. Entered last year, yes or no. Gender, please select.
Just start naming terrorists.
Oh, I like the little thing here you can click. Please select female or male. Date of birth.
Not either.
Date of birth. I hate how in brackets says DD/MM/YYYY.
Why me? Why me? Why?
Tell us your story. Story title: maximum of 100 characters, including spaces.
Yay!
Your story, maximum of 100 words. Length of your story is shown below. Number of words. Gonna write some stuff in it. Lol. Space. I like. What do I like? Nope. Cats. That was 4 words. Oh my god, it was right. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Who's giving your permission?
Bob.
What is your relationship to the entrant? Parents as guardian, teacher, or please select.
Oh my god, it'll
Your
say
title.
husband.
What?
It'll just say husband. I'm 13 years old and I'm married.
Your title, please select Mr., Mrs., Miss, Doctor, Prof,
Miss.
Rev. That's weird. First name, surname, email address. Please retype your email address to confirm. Daytime phone number without spaces. Mobile phone number without spaces. Home region of child entry. Choose the nearest area. Please select beds. What beds, hearts, and bucks? What?
Nuala, I've got a story here that should influence your writing.
Oh god, okay.
It's a creepypasta.
Oh, okay.
It's called The Dark Room. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Alone he stands in the middle of the room, surrounded by dark walls with nothing but a dim light bulb hanging from the ceiling above him. A man with light brown skin and black hair that messily reaches his shoulders blankly stared at the light. Basically, completely ignore the description of the man and think of him as Jordan. His beard, full and untamed, had spots of dirt and grime. So yeah, when I first read this out to myself, I imagined Jordan's Minecraft or YouTube character, and I just thought he just needs a sailor hat. A dirty white. Oh no, wait, I've just missed the entire section. He wears glasses that frame his deep blue eyes and short eyelashes. A dirty white lab coat overlaps his tucked-in black shirt and ripped blue jeans. Thinking deeply, he tried to put together the events that had led up to his captivity. He was just a scientist who was trying to find a cure for the outbreak, but the government were all like, hell no, don't you go there, sister. And he was all like, I'm not your sister, pal. And then they were like, I'm not your pal, buddy. And you get the general idea. They thought that that wasn't actually what it said, by the way. I just added that bit in because I could.
I could kind of tell.
Okay. They thought that it was he and his team who had spread the disease even further. The government was looking for someone to blame to ease their minds and voices of quickly depleting population, and who better than the only remaining scientist who had anything to do with their project? Dun, dun, dun. On Musin Samson, the scientist takes his fixed gaze away from the light bulb and looked towards the reinforced door. It was too dark. It was too dark to see the other side of the room, but he had heard a very heavy clank of metal, indicating one of the guards had opened a slot on the door. Are you ready to talk? Samson kept quiet for a moment. They kept him here in this dark room for days, depriving of water and food. Being a scientist, Samson knows what the deprivation of food and water does to the human body. He was dizzy and fatigued. Simply everyday tasks became more difficult to do. What's the point? Samson replied calmly with a dry mouth. I've asked so many questions. The door slot slams. I love the fact that I just made him sound like that. I didn't even finish a sentence like, nope, not talking to you, slam. Basically, a whole lot of people died because people die in creepypastas. Zombie killed people, 4 stomps dead, everyone died, boom, boom, Jordan appears randomly, death, boom, Jordan, boom, death, Jordan, boom, death, Jordan. You get the general gist. Jordan basically kills everyone in the end. So, have the BBC claimed your life yet?
Now, I've written 20 words of my story, and I think that's enough for tonight. That's enough. Ah! Okay. Can I read you a story?
Yeah.
Okay. This is called The Hellhound Heart. On March 16th, 1995, Terry Cottle shot and killed himself.
Ooh, that's bad.
In the bathroom of the home he shared with his wife Claire. Shirley.
Shirley can't be serious.
There had been an argument. There had always been arguments, and Terry had threatened himself with a gun just months before. Shirley heard a shot from the other side of the door after watching her husband enter the bathroom at 22. No. She heard him gasp, "Help me, I'm dying," and then he was gone. He fired a single round into his brain. The only possible silver lining there was that Terry, 33, had been in good physical condition. The organ donor, Terry's heart saved the life of a 57-year-old Sonny Graham, who had contracted an incurable virus of the heart a year earlier. In 1996, Sonny woke with a letter of appreciation to Terry's widow and thought the donor's punishment procurement agency had advised against contract. They had decided to meet, and then when they did, Sonny fell instantly in love with the widow of the man whose whole heart had now beat in his chest. I felt like I had known her for years. I couldn't keep my eyes off her, Sonny told the local newspaper in 2006. They were both married at the time, but within a few years, both had discovered that they moved in together. In 2001, it was a rocky relationship, just like Cheryl and Terry's had been. They had actually married in 2004. 4 years later, with no indication that anything serious amiss, Sonny's life ended the same way Terry's did: suicide by gunshot. And the heart had beat on 12 for that had beat on for 12 years of borrowed time stopped beating for good. I genuinely have no idea what that was about. I just decided to read it.
I am so shocked right now. My pants are literally brown. I'm just kidding. I'm actually really terrified. I'm on the ceiling.
I wish that was actually possible.
It is. Static.
Is it really? I'm gonna look for better stories because that was terrible. 66 creepy ass stories that will ruin your life.
Generate a line of dialogue. Let's have a look. How long have you been standing there, Jordan? Are you kidding me? We're not fine, Jordan. Perhaps you'll take me out one day, or do I make an appointment, Jordan? Do you think that was just lemonade in your glass, do you, Jordan? Yeah, all these lines are Python, Jordan. You were meant to be watching him. Are you taking his side against mine? These are so Jordan. You stand there and accuse me, but where were you at the time? I think the room is booked. Jordan just says, I think I like it. No! Generate a scenario. Your friend asks you to put the lottery on for him/her, then wins $1 million. How much do you think you should get for the trip to the shop? Write about what happens. They all die at the end. A man lies close to death, describing the images from his childhood that fill his mind. Let's see. Right, John's lying close to death. Oh my god! He dies of a heart attack immediately when he has flashback. How would you go about faking your own death? Where would you go afterwards? Chainsaw to the nose, and then I'd replace my identity with a duck. I think I'd probably win.
Okay, alright. The story's called Blue Tidal. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was definitely not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I would go for long walks and spend my time thinking. Okay, the story sounds way too familiar. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once found a reason to feel afraid. I was always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all of that changed in a few minutes of one evening. Okay, this is way too familiar. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning. I was walking near a police patrol park, quite ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight. It was very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park was, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to look back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street on my side was a silhouette of a man dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you would say he was dance walking, heading straight for me. Do you recognize this story?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like way too familiar. Okay, Captanculus. I'd been living alone for less than a week. I got some Chinese takeout and was eating in front of the TV. I finished my meal, cracked open the fortune cookie. It read, "You will have a visitor tonight. You will have a visitor tonight. Lock your door." There was no visitors that night, but the memory still haunts me. Ooh. Up. I watched in the I watched in the horror as this drunk seeming guy fell. Maybe it was on purpose, but I don't know. Into a commuter rail track just as the train was coming. The sound of him getting run over, crunching, splattering, awful. It has stayed with me for life as the scariest brain scattering thing ever. Spectre, Alabama. I was on vacation. I still thought you would do that. I was on vacation in Ithaca with my boyfriend at the time. Very fitting. We had literally, I'm talking 10 minutes, just gotten into town and stopped at the substation bridge near the Cornell's campus. I'm terrified of heights, and so my boyfriend was coaxing me step by step over the bridge. It was gorgeous, and we stopped in the middle to take a picture. On the side we had come from, there was a parking lot with steps leading to the bottom of the gorge, but on the far side there were hiking paths with no barrier. A woman walked past us and offered to take a picture. We declined, and she smiled and walked quickly to the far end of the bridge, where she smoothly jumped off the gorge, and there was no second of hesitation. It was almost like she expected the path to keep going. The sound of the person hitting the ground from a jump that sticks with you. Well, these are weird stories.
I know. I'm just sort of like wondering if I should continue on with my. Okay. Oh God. Hang on.
How is this story creepy? After living in a house alone for 8 years, I came to the realization that I had closed more doors than I had opened.
Oh my God, he sleepwalks. There we go.
Oh God, wait, what's this? I saw Obama! What the hell? read this. God, there's so much. I'm totally not reading that.
Do you want me to read it out to you?
Okay, this story is called Invader. I saw a little bird walking on the street when suddenly a seagull grabbed it in the mouth, and the seagull started to smash this helpless bird against the ground a few times. After a while, it ate the bird, and I saw a bump on the seagull's neck, like the little bird was stuck in its throat, and then flew off. I was standing there and said, "What the fuck, seagulls? Shouldn't do that. Fuck seagulls."
Wow.
All of the cheesecake. My dad died of cancer the day I turned 16 after about 2 weeks in a coma. It was really fast, less than 2 months between a diagnosis and death. He died in the house. We had a hospice attend to, and my mum was very good at seeing to him on those final days. Anyway, a lot of weird shit happened after he passed, but one of still freaks me out when I think about it. It happened about 12 hours before he took bed for the last time. He was in our living room, napping on the couch, while my mum was in the kitchen cooking. No one else was home. Suddenly, he jerked awake, shouting for my mum very loud, agitated voice, and clearly angry with her. "Beverly, don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again." She ran into the room, alarmed, and asked what he was talking about. He said, "Don't do that. Don't walk past me like that. And that don't walk past me like that in that long black wig." Sometimes I think he saw the death.
Hey, Nuala.
EJ Liz. What?
Do you want me to read the story out to you?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. You are listening to Audible. True Love by Fate, read by Scott Robertson. Why did I start out? Oh, it was a dark and stormy night, and an unnatural haze lingered over space. In his bed, Jordan shivered. For a summery night, the air was cold, and the sky was like, right, don't bother making sense out of it, just go with the flow. Right. It was almost as if something evil lurked out there in the shadows. Jordan rolled over, clutching his pillow, and tried to fall back to sleep. But a worry nagged in the back of his mind. Something was not right. No matter how he tried, some ghostly force prevented him from sleeping. It made him uneasy. With a sigh, he rolled out of bed, put on his pants, and poured himself a cup of water from the pitcher on his nightstand. Quietly, he left his room. The halls were silent as he walked in the dark. He did not know where he was going, or why, but his body seemed to move on its own accord. He was being drawn by an unseen power, past his father's bedroom, past the dining hall, past the cellar, and onto the terrace. By the way, just gonna note, the location which I put down for this was space, so currently he's floating. Somehow. With the moon hidden behind thick clouds in space, it was nearly impossible to see the inky black night in space. It's impossible to see all this black night around me while I'm in space. Hello, Ruby. Where was I? But something lying on the path to John's right made him gasp in shock. A body. Dun 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 dun. That word. I'm just gonna skip that word. Thingy, Jordan shouted. He leaped over the terrace rail onto the ground below, running toward the fallen form as fast as he could. Tree branches scratched at his skin, and he pulled at his clothes, but he paid them no mind. Hang on, I'm gonna close the door. Oh, my face! Ah, there we go. I had the chair attached to my headset, so I just kind of pulled myself back. Right. Okay. Where was I? Heart pounding, he fell to his knees on the pathway and placed a gentle hand on the figure. Oh my god, why? Why? Why?
What?
The story on the one.
Oh, I've said this story before. Oh god.
Fourth paragraph. The last sentence.
Looking. Fourth paragraph.
And the last sentence. Heart pounding.
Heart pounding. He felt his knee. He fell to his knees on the pathway and placed a gentle hand on the figure's penis.
Now that he was closer, you could see that he was a young badass member of White House, a president by the looks of him.
Oh god, Obama. Oh my god, have you seen White House Down?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Who appeared to be no more than 1 year old. But he was in dire need of help. His clothes were torn and bloody, and his hair was... This makes it worse. It just makes it worse.
Oh god, what is it?
It's on the...
Oh god, but he is in dire need of help. His clothing is torn, bloody, and his hair is matted with sperm. He needs the attention of a healer immediately. Without a second thought, Jordan picked up the wounded president and, cradling him in his arms, carried him inside to seek help from what he desperately needed.
Dun, dun, dun. His situation is severe, Bob Marley said in one. His situation is severe, Bob Marley said in a worried voice. Whether or not he will live until morning is beyond my sight, Mon. My team of healers will do the best they can, but... His voice trailed off. Jordan could sense fear. There was a good chance that the young badass mofo might die. Is there anything I can do to help? He asked. Bob Marley said, sadly shook his head. Nothing the healers are not already trying. but it might help if you just sat with him on. You'll need to see a friendly face when he wakes up from this ordeal, Mon. And you are the closest thing he has right now.
I understand.
I understand, said Jordan. And I will stay with him for as long as it takes. I will not let him die. Yeah, John's the opera singer in this.
No. He's from Les Mis.
Or look
actually,
down.
No. Oh my god, you sounded like you were singing you sounded a bit like the kid from Sweetie Todd. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? That's like one of my favorite songs. Okay. With that, Jordan turned and hurried out the room. Where the wounded president was being housed.
He's being housed in the White House of Housington. He was surrounded by healers, all of whom wore the same concerned expression. They had washed his body and dressed his wounds with healing salve, but still the badass mofo showed no signs of improvement. But he's a badass. His breathing was shallow, and his pulse was weak. One of the healers turned to Jordan with a defeat sigh. It will help an uplift battle. It
was an uphill battle, she said. We've done all we can at this time. Now we can only wait to see if he wakes, she said.
I had no idea. Jordan nodded resolutely. I will stay with him through the night and keep watch as he sleeps. One by one, the healers left the bedside, the last one closing the door behind her. Good night.
In the flickering candlelight, Jordan dripped the square of cloth in a bowl of warm water and left it water.
I would like a glass of water.
And gently used to stroke the injured badass's mofo's left ball. Then taking up the president's limp hand, he settled into his bedside chair and prepared to wait through the remainder of the long cold night. Wait, what's his voice going to be like?
It's a barber. Where am I? Jordan jerked awake with a start when he heard the words being spoken. He stared down at the patient, and a immense wave of relief coursed through his body. The badass mofo was alive because he's badass, and looked from the looks of it.
He was on his way to making a full recovery.
Yes.
Space! You're in space! Jordan found you last night lying unconscious and nearly dead on the path coming from the forest. I carried you inside and my father's feelers tended to your wounds. Please tell me your name and how you came to be here.
My name is Obama, said the badass mofo. I come from the White House. I was on an
Your friend.
Oh God, he's got from my father to deliver an important message to Nuala in Pandora. Yeah, you're in this. But last night, all I remember is that I was riding through the forest when I was suddenly attacked by a group of rubber duckies. At least 69 surrounded me. I tried to escape. Attacked by a group of rubber duckies. Oh wait, I said that. But there was
so many. So many. Had my big booty. I only had my big booty for protection. The last thing I recall, I do not know how I came to be here or why I am not dead. Jordan smiled at him. The stars must have shined fabulably for you on you. To live through such an ordeal, that is more than mere luck. It was more than luck too. Obama had wound up in space and Jordan.
I would call that luck.
Jordan had wound up in space and Jordan had found him. Now the two were together. It felt almost like fate had lent a hand. Obama was meant to be here and Jordan was meant to have found him. Why? Jordan did not know, but it felt so certain.
Oh my God. It also did not hurt that Obama was one of the most beautiful individuals Jordan had ever seen. His sleek white hair contrasted with his large, dark red eyes. Normally paid. So basically,
I thought you said large dick, and I was like, oh my God. His sculpted face half hidden by bed linen's body. Half hidden by bed linens. As further attraction, Jordan could barely suppress his desire to run his hands over his soft hair and perfect body.
What?
But he kept his feelings under control. Obama had just barely survived a nearly fatal encounter and was now was no time for romance. Within 3 days, Obama was improved enough to leave the bed, but Marley gave him a new set of clothes and he was able to wander the corridor. Was able to wander the corridors of the gardens by himself, but the only thing that troubled him was Jordan's absence. Appearance.
It makes so much sense.
Since the morning when he'd first awoken in space, Jordan had looked like a pig, and now he looks even more like a piece of shit. No, he'd not seen Jordan at all. It was as if his receiver had simply disappeared. He asked Bob Marley where his son could be, but Bob Marley had no answer. Jordan was gone without a trace. Bob Marley desired to speak with Jordan again. It was probably
Obama, not Bob Marley. Please join the councilman.
And properly thank him for saving his life. But he also wanted to see handsome elf once more. Oh, he did not explain it, but he felt a deep concern to Jordan. Either
connection, not concern. Something about your concerns.
Connected to Jordan, either forged by a life-saving bond or some other power. He knew that Jordan was someone special, someone he had to see again. It was until the 6th day after Obama had recovered that Jordan returned to space. He rode off on the same path Obama had been found, dragging a net filled with heads of rubber duckies behind him, all 69 of them. 69.
Oh my god.
Here's your rubber duckies, he called to Obama. I found them hiding out in the cave, far from here.
Hello.
Hi, sorry. Weather came in. Alright, where was I? Here's your rubber duckies, he called. Found them hiding out in the cave, not far from here. Obama stared at surprise, eyes wide open. You killed them. You killed all of them by yourself, and cannot let such dangerous creatures roam free in our land. And I did it for you. They nearly killed you. I didn't want anything. Tell you again.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Obama could feel his heart pounding as Jordan spoke. Jordan killed those rubber duckies for him. Killed those rubber ducky for him. Before he could stop himself, he leapt to Jordan and threw his arms around his neck, kissing the brave elf on the right ball. Jordan laughed.
Oh my god.
Jordan laughed in surprise, but did not pull away. What was that for? Just a thank you, Obama said. He smiled, and when he saw a sudden serious look in Jordan's eyes, his smile faded. What's wrong? He asked, worried. Obama, Jordan said, I have to confess something to you. The first morning you were here, I thought you were so beautiful. I wanted to kiss you again, but I did not know how you would react. Obama gasped and stopped. Kiss me? I told you I must not because... I told myself I must not because I'm terrible, dear. You had just suffered. It was not the right time, but these past few days while I was gone, I could only think of you the entire time. And no! Jordan.
Oh my god.
Jordan. Oba. Oba. Dot. What the hell?
Jordan Oba. Sounds like the laziest conversation ever. I'm going to call you Oba and you can call me Jordan.
My parents bought their house back in 1972. It was a fixer-upper. Maybe it's a bit of a fixer-upper. Okay.
Wink wink.
But they decided to move right away and fix things as time/money permitted.
It's like they're moving straight away. Move! Get out the way!
Within a few days of moving in, the new neighbors came over to introduce themselves. They let the parents know that the previous owners had moved out after a nasty divorce. They had lost their second baby from Sid what?
Sid Bob.
And their relation what?
Bob way.
And their relationships went downhill from there. My parents were horrified, more so because they were newly pregnant. I couldn't imagine going through such a thing. They eventually pretty much forgot all about it. What was that, Jordan? Yeah. Pretty much forgot all about it. And life went on. They were in love with their new life and their new house. In preparation for the baby, they decided to wallpaper the nursery. Now, my dad told my mom there was no need to wallpaper the inside of the closet, but she insisted. She knelt down, scraping off the old paint inside the closet, and her eyes fell open, and something made her blood turn to ice, written in crayon. About eye level of a kindergartner, what's childish scrawl was, I killed the baby.
I am baby.
Designer logic. I woke up one night around 1 a.m. I heard the shower I was on. My first thought was my brother. He works night shift, so he had come home late and was in the shower. I went on about half an hour until I got up and went to see WTF what was going on. No one was in the shower. My brother wasn't home yet. I was the only one in the house. Still, to this day, I have no idea how it turned on or how it did it. almost 5 years later, I think about it and shit myself. Even writing
Every
this
now
now,
and then
I
I
feel
think
like I'm
about
turning
it.
I'm turning everything light. Even writing this, I feel like turning every light on the house. Ahaha, why do I do this to myself?
Because you're a boss.
Okay, fish. I house sit for a family friend who, when she goes out to town, the woman who lives there is really into a bunch of spiritual stuff, new age stuff, Reiki, etc. I don't know what that is.
Reiki.
The very first time I was house sitting, I was outside watering the plants. I was the only one there, and I had to close the door after me. From the driveway, I was watering. I had a completely unobstructed view of the front door, the only door that was unlocked at the time. When I went back inside, there on the little table next to the front door was a half-eaten cookie. The table had completely clear when I went outside, and I hadn't even seen cookies that looked like that anywhere in the house.
Cookie monster.
Nothing too creepy, but very puzzling and unsettling. When the woman returns, I mentioned to her, and she laughs and says, I get ghosts all the time. I'm a fairly skeptical person, but honestly, ghosts were the best explanation. The next time I was over, I was popping around.
I was pooping around.
No,
Today I feel fabulous.
Right. What is this? Pooping. Right, popping around at 10:30. The house itself was fairly old and creaks from time to time, but nothing too loud or too disruptive. While I was okay, yes, it was definitely pooping. While I was pooping, here comes a single loud knock on the other side of the bathroom. Yeah, it's definitely pooping. Door. I was pooping around. Okay. Outside of the bathroom door. It was a little creak or pop from the house. It was loud, determined, it was a loud, determined rap on the door. It was enough to scare the poop back from the rest of. It was scared to bring my poop back in for the rest. Ew! That's a bit gross.
By George.
It was enough to scare my poop back in for the rest of the night. Ugh.
Yeah.
Skipper's Lost. Well, I'll never forget this one. My wife and I used to live in a town home at the back of some woods. We both took off work one day to get some things done in the yard, cutting the grass, weeding our large flower beds, laying mulch, etc. Our yard wasn't big, but it took about 2 full grass clipping bags. I could walk a couple feet into the woods and dump them in a pile. As I'm walking back to the empty second bag, something in the middle of the woods catches my eye, something out of place, and it's moving.
It's me.
I crouched down and get a better look, and I froze. Just at first, I couldn't make out. I could make out a pair of shoes just swaying back and forth, and then I was able to see legs, and then the body of a teenager there in the middle of the woods, a teenager who had hung himself. Next to the tree, I could see a skateboard leaning up against it. I yelled for my wife to call the police and started running back to try and save him. He was gone. His body was limp, and his head was just slumped over. His dark, scruffy hair was slowly blowing in the breeze. The cops came quickly cut him down, and they were gone. As it turns out, he was having problems getting along with his parents, and this is what he decided to do. Okay, suicide makes me sad. That's kind of. These aren't scary though.
That's just depressing.
They're not creepy ass poems, but they do ruin your day. Living in the northern parts of Zerain Block 614. Living in the northern part of Mexico, drug capitals.
By any chance, is this called Breaking Bad?
No.
I just have to listen to the
Northern
first
parts of
part of
Mexico, the drug cartels of war is very intense in the city where I live a couple years ago. where I live a couple of years ago. I was waiting to cross the street when I saw a big truck jumping a plastic
Boop, boop.
jumping a plastic bag that opened contain a fucking dismembered body. The worst part was that nobody did a shit. I just waited for the light to change and ran like hell.
As you do.
You must the Knox. My old co-worker had a son and son that was in his mid-30s. He had a son named Hunter. That was
Hunter.
4 or 5.
Hunter X Hunter.
She said that Hunter had bad dreams, that he would sleep with his dad when he got scared. One night, his dad woke up because he heard Hunter calling for him, but he was calling him by his name, not Dad. He went to his room, and he was asleep.
Jordan.
He woke up and said, Hunter, are you calling me? Is everything okay? And I said, Dad, when they call you, you're not supposed to answer, and fell back asleep. He asked him about it in the morning, and he said that he didn't remember saying it. I get chills whenever I think about it. Ooh. Oh my god, this one's called And Then Sex. Should I read it?
Oh, go on.
It's not that long.
Yes, but the title doesn't matter if it's that long.
And Then Sex. Up until I was about 8 or so, I lived in a really old house that since the beginning of time had been bounced around from relative to relative until eventually my mother had been handed over the keys. It was basically a shit heap. 2 stories of a collapsed.
Oh, very aggressive.
2 stories, a collapsed balcony on the second level, a mouldy mildew all over most of the ceilings, one tiny bathroom and the toilet was outside, overrun with frogs, spiders, and whatever other kind of hell spawn the Australian outback would throw at us. I actually really like the way this is written. I was terrified as a child, scared of basically everything. I'm much better now. I have much bigger balls than most of my friends.
Wow.
Okay,
guys, I have 2
in brackets,
very confident people. I would like you to admit.
most of bigger balls than most of my friends in brackets, if I do say so myself. Nonetheless, I would probably have put the blame on this old house of mine. I remember as a child that I would always have the same dream. I'd start in the kitchen, no idea how I got there, of course. It was during the day, probably later in the afternoon. Nobody was around, so naturally I'd go looking for my mother or father. I'd go to all the normal places. My mum wasn't in the laundry shed or the lounge room. My dad wasn't on the patio outside or back at the chicken coop. My sister wasn't around either. I was starting to get worried, thinking that everyone was gone and they left me alone, until I heard a noise above me, coming from the second floor, where the bedrooms are. Relieved, I darted upstairs and jumped on the first step. I jumped towards the stairs and jumped to the first step. Then I felt it. There was something back of my head making me stop. Legs still raised up. As I prepared to move to the second step, something telling me that I shouldn't go up there. Of course, this thought was running trampant in my mind. Don't go up there. Don't go up there. Stay here. Stay down here. Don't go up there. There's something up there. Finally, my leg dropped before I could reconsider. I pushed myself up the stairs, even though I didn't want to anymore. I couldn't stop myself, only slow down. Each step was taken at an apologetically slow pace. I wanted so bad just to go back down the stairs, find someone, run to my grandparents' house and stay with them until my mum was home. But eventually I rounded the corner, leaving only the last few steps leading up to the floor ahead of me. There was nothing there. I couldn't see anything in the stairwell. I started getting hopeful at that point. Maybe it's okay. Nobody's here.
It's make-believe.
I was just imagining things. Everything's going to be fine. I'm still taking slow steps when it appears. Something there. I can't actually remember what it was. I can never I never could after I woke up, but it was horrifying beyond belief. I would always try to close my eyes because it was the only thing as a child, and if I couldn't see it, I couldn't see you, but it could still see me. I couldn't blink. I couldn't shut my eyes. It was like my eyelids weren't working. I would even.
It was Jordan.
I would even try to hold my hands in front of my face, but still I couldn't block it out. I could see through my hands. I couldn't do anything. I just was unable to do anything except stare at this thing.
Ooh.
All about a meter away from me. Whatever I saw, whatever I did, for those 8 years I was at that house, I thought I had to force myself to go up the stairs, day or night. It was horrifying. My mother sighed and tried to reason with me. My father glared at me and called me a coward, and my sister just laughed and said that I was retarded. But every time I had to go up those stairs, as soon as I hit that top stairwell, I had to stop and make sure I could cover my eyes with my hands, or shut my eyes. Of course, it would terrify me the most when I'd go to blink, wave my hand in front of my face, and it wouldn't work, and I'd realize I was dreaming.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that's like the first one that I've read that's actually very slightly creepy. And that one's called And Then Sex. Tell me the world.
Do you think that's what happened? That just happened, and then straight afterwards, no questions.
Tell me the world. I was playing Connect one night. It detected a second player, but I was alone.
Ah! The end.
Yeah, that's the Lorfmonger. I used to have a truck that I swore had a ghost of a dead baby in it. I used to get home late from work as a dishwasher, and after I parked, I was sitting in my driveway with the engine off, and I would hear a very faint sound of a baby crying. Late at night when it was quiet, I used to make the hairs on my arm stand on end, and I used to get home and hop out of the car in the fear of hearing it. One night I decided to sit there and listen, try to pinpoint the sound. Eventually I discovered it was indeed not a dead baby. When I undid my seat buckle, the old spring of my seat belt retractor would slowly start pulling on my belt end, recreating a faint noise that sounded like a wailing.
And it just turns out that was a truck outside. The end. Dun, dun.
These aren't really creepy. I popsicle, watching an A7 concealer grab the number 13 cable was not being fully retracted after the wire broke and whipped around. 2 sailors were dead and 2 amputees, and two were amputees. Getting those scene seconds after the most horrific sight I'd ever witnessed. Using a mop and pail to sweep up the puddles of blood. Heart-wrenching. Wow.
Dun 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 dun.
Rough reborn. I woke up one night to the noise downstairs. The Xbox was on and the Kinect was moving up and down. Everything so often, like it does when you sit up. Turned it off and went back to bed. Next morning I booted up the Xbox TV and started Kinect Adventures. Several pics were taken last night.
I like the fact that it refers a video game.
Of in-game what?
It refers a video game. Connect Xbox.
Yeah. Was taken last night of in-game action. There was no one in the pictures. Ooh.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Trying to find actual scary ones, but there aren't many. So I'm just kind of reading short ones.
We did read a scary one.
Indeed we did. Dreams Renner. I'm a journalist, and I was told this doozy by a woman I interviewed for a true crime story. When this woman's young girl, I say 8 years old, she started to come downstairs at night and tell her father there was a man in her closet. He tells her there's no such thing as the boogeyman and sends her back upstairs.
He started dancing. I'm the boogeyman.
This happens on and off for weeks. Finally, he gets frustrated, walks her back to the room, and says, "I'll show you that there's nothing in her closet." He goes and opens the door, opens an inch, and then feels someone slam it shut. He turns out there really was a man in her closet. This man was a perv. He would come in the house every night and stare at the girl from her closet while she slept. The dad kicked the shit out of him, and the perv went into prison for many years. I researched the story 20 years after it happened. The guy had just gotten out of jail again, and no one could find him.
Until I opened my closet, and it was Jordan.
I was actually expecting it to go, "Oh, yes, and his name was Jordan."
Of course, it makes so much sense now.
Crispin 01. I used to work a night shift at security on college campus, 11 p.m. to 7 p.m. Usually by myself. If I was lucky, I'd have to work I would have to work a study student officer with me until 2. The campus had been around in one form and the other since the Revolutionary War. Started as a wood fort, and then stone, and then finally concrete fortresses with dozens of brick buildings until the end of World War II, and then they disimposed the fort and turned it into a college. There was one building on campus that used to be an office quarters. A really fancy, rather upscale 3-story house. A place has been all the classical stories, lady in white, shadows moving on their own, steps, etc. I never believed them until I experienced them. Temperature drop. My first experience in there was when I was still on my shift during the day. It was maybe 4 p.m. I remember the sun was still out, and I also the 80s outside. It was also in the 80s outside. I was crossing the main lobby, a large room in front of the couple stairs, when I realized something. It was suddenly way too quiet. The air was heavy and pressing down on me. I stopped walking for some reason, and then it got cold, really cold. It must have dropped about 20 degrees. Needless to say, I booked it before I heard or saw anything. I've seen horror movies. Fuck this. The Scream. Another experience with this place. Screaming. I was an escort for a couple of new officers to show them how to lock the building. We were standing in the lobby. Everything seemed to be focused there. Taking the last guy in the building. 4 of us standing in a group, but all but one of us heard shuffling, like something being dragged in short spurts across the floor directly above us. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Aye! A woman screamed, but there was nobody up there. I remember I wanted to check it out, but the female officer who was next to me got creeped out. Cough.
Hello?
No, I don't want to. No one, I'm reading. I am actually. Fine.